This round of 16 picks edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at underdogfantasy.com. Promo code PLGP. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Friday, June the 27th, and I am here to have a little look around the match day 3 picks from the Club World Cup. We look at our group outrights that have obviously finished as well, before taking a look at the entire round of 16 fixtures, which run from Saturday through to Wednesday. As you'll probably notice, it's a solo special. Barry is off filling himself full of a terrifying amount of lager in Berlin with the boys, the Magical Mystery Tour. But I'm saving my pennies up for my holiday, so I didn't go this year. So I hope everyone's having a lovely time. I think they flew out 6 o'clock last night, so get some nice weather. And like I say, plenty of fun and games in Germany for Barry and the rest of the Penalunas, etc. I think this is my first ever Premier League solo show. I've done a couple with the MLB show. The MLB is all business. There's a lot going on. You have to fit 15 games in, so you don't have too much time for shenanigans, where obviously shenanigans is a large part of what me and Barry do here. But it is pretty much, like I say, it's all business on MLB. But I'll just have to get to it today, really. I mean, it's a shame because I've had some funny things happen over the last few days. I've got some excellent topics for potential banter, but you can't love into a vacuum. And I've got no one here to bounce off. So, I mean, the possibilities. Here's some of the things I had to possibly talk to you about. Chubby Brown's limousine. That's a good topic. I saw a shit guide dog. That would be loads of fun. And also, I've got an excellent tale about my dad and some dinner ladies. Now, that's intriguing, isn't it? So, I've wet your whistle for those stories. When Barry gets back next week, I'll see if we can get into them a little bit more. So it'll be a bit of a weird time. What is it? 2:15 on a Friday afternoon, which means it's 7:15 Eastern time. But some people are up. Captain Insano's up. Captain, aye, how are you doing? John Cullifay is in the chat as well. Captain Insano's asking me about some darts picks tonight at the MSC. The only problem I've got, Captain, is that I can't. Normally, I'd wait for Barry to say some things, and then I'd start sniffing around the darts pages. But I'm very much, it's a one-man show. Barry's not here to press the buttons, so I can't do the old hands in the air. That's the other thing I wanted to say up top. When inevitably something goes tits up in the next 40 minutes or so, just bear with me. I'll try and press the buttons. I've got the ad reads. Something's going to go wrong. So we'll give it a go. Brutal has joined us as well. I was just saying, Brutal Bass is off in Berlin on his jollies, isn't he? So there you go. Had a few people in the YouTube comments after the last show get in touch. Daquan was in touch. Thank you very much for that. And William as well. Geordie Poke got in touch to have a pop at my Boca Juniors v Auckland pick, which we'll get to. One of the worst picks of all time. I think, what episode number is this? 278 or something. One of the all-time worst picks. But I've given loads of winners out. I mean, are we just ignoring the 4-game sweep last time? So Geordie Pick was happy enough. Geordie Poke was happy enough to have a pop at me. But I mean, come on. Anyway, we had a little chat, did me and Geordie, and it's all fine. But actually, Bootle's mentioning in the comments here Sky Bet's new layout. And I'm pleased. I actually tried to search it the other day in Twitter just to see what other people had been saying about it, because it's horrendous. It looks like a sixth form project. I don't know what they've done with it. It's like, yeah, some 14-year-old kids go and design a website. They'd probably do a better job. It's dog shit. But I just thought maybe it's me as an old man. I'm struggling with it. Maybe you're an old man, but I don't know. You did get locked out / in the house a few weeks ago. So you might just be having a senior moment as well. But it is a little bit rubbish. Match day 3 picks. Match day 3 is done, which means the group stages have finished. So I think it's prudent, mainly because we picked some winners. It's prudent to have a little outright update, actually, on where we stand on our pre-tournament picks before we get into the rest of it. Craig joined us. Welcome. How you doing, Craig? So complete outright markets. My main pick was Atletico, who we have lost. They have gone by the wayside. Out on goal difference. No complaints, really. I think they were a little bit unlucky in spots, but they did get humped off PSG 4-0. So that goal difference came back to haunt them. Flamengo to reach the semi-finals is still live, and Flamengo have been really good, but Bayern Munich is their next opponent. By virtue of losing to Benfica, Bayern finished second in the group, which means Flamengo play Bayern. Part of the handicap was Flamengo will win Chelsea's group and then get Benfica. Well, it hasn't quite worked out like that. So they are live, but Bayern Munich isn't ideal. Group outrights, 3 out of 3 for both me and Barry. Now, we did have a couple of similar picks, actually. I went for Flamengo to win the group at 9-4 plus 225. Was an excellent pick. They duffed up Chelsea. Miami to qualify, it's 6-4 plus 150. And Al Hilal to qualify at 5-2 plus 125. So 3 out of 3 there. Paid about 16-1 treble, if you were interested in that. Barry went for Palmeiras to qualify. He went 3 out of 3 as well. Palmeiras to qualify. Wydad Casablanca to finish on 0 points. 7-2 plus 350. Unbelievable pick for Baz. And he also put Al Hilal to qualify at 5-4 plus 125. So 3 out of 3 for both of us. Baz's accumulator with that 7-2 shot would have paid a little bit more, really, up towards 25-1. And I gave out the 3-team ACCA on teams not to qualify. That was blown up by Botafogo. I got 2 out of 3 in, but Botafogo have made it through. So that was the end of that. Wydad Casablanca under 2.5 goals did hit 5-6. Them to become the lowest goal scorers did not hit. They managed to score twice. And then the total goals, I've been counting these all the way through. We are now, after 48 games, on 144 exactly. Wednesday's games was a kick in the stones. This is what done me in. This was the group. It was the Dortmund, Mamelodi Sundowns group, where the 2 previous games had finished 4-3 and 4-2. And then those 2 final group games finished 1-0 and 0-0. So I thought that put us right behind the 8 ball. However, there was then 15 goals in the Thursday games. Man City, obviously, 5-2 helped. So 144 in 48, if you're any good at maths, is 3 goals per game. So we are on pace for 189, which is exactly halfway between. The line was at 183. We like the over. So I forecast 6 over that. The 6-1 play I wanted was 196. So we're halfway between the line the bookies gave out for the baseline and getting up to 196. So we do need a little bit of. I need another 5-3 or something. We need something to go mad. The 1-1 draw, Auckland City and Boca Juniors was a killer because I really needed a 5-6-7-0, and then 3 goals per game would get us there. But we didn't get there at all. So I think that's the outright caught up with until we move on. Smudge has joined us. Lee, sorry, Lee. Yeah, I did originally schedule the show for 3, but as you well know, that means fuck all. I'll turn up when I turn up. I got in from work early. I've been watching Catfish, bit of a Catfish marathon on the telly, and I thought I'd crack on at 2:15. So you'll have to go back and catch up. It's been an absolute treat. You've missed. And pro of nothing, completely separate market. In the women's Euros, Spain at 2-1 are gigantic. Just get involved in Spain. They are so far the superior team. It's incredible. 2-1 might be the best 2-1 shot we've seen for absolute ages. Right, what we're going to do here is I'm going to try reading some of these adverts out and press the buttons at the same time, which can only go wrong. Brace yourself, John. I don't want you to be left down by my ad reading. NASCAR in-season tournament is running a free contest. Head to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NASCAR contest for your chance to win a $200 gift card, and make sure to subscribe to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. We are brought to you by mybookie.ag, your place to bet on every sport, including MLB, WNBA, golf, and football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from tons of locations. Crypto is accepted. Payouts are really quick over there. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. T's and C's apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN, or indeed PLGP, our show code. And the Circa Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the Ultimate Fantasy Football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas. You'll get a limo ride from the airport, $5,000 tab for stadium swim, and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. All our listeners can always get 15% off at Circa Properties with the promo code SGP15. This is your last chance to enter the Circa Ultimate Fantasy Football giveaway. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. Now, I didn't use the slides then. I'm not sure there was any, actually. Whatever, not a problem. Right, that worked out. So, outrights covered. Next thing to get on to is the match day 3 picks. Oh, in fact, I've got an outright play that I really like. Bootle has just mentioned Manchester City in the chat. So the way the brackets worked out here, we just talked a little bit about Flamengo ending up with Bayern Munich. Manchester City have found themselves in really the easiest half of the draw by some distance now. They've got Fluminense, Inter Milan, Botafogo, Palmeiras, Benfica, Chelsea. So that half of the draw is really opened out for Manchester City, where by virtue of Munich coming second in that group, the other half of the draw is completely stacked. PSG, Flamengo, who have done really well. Then you've got Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Dortmund. The outright market has got obviously Man City at the top with Madrid, but then the next 5 or 6 in the market all come from that side of the draw. So the play I like is I looked at Man City outright at 11-4. I looked at them each way, which was a third of the odds, 1-2. But the pick I landed on is Manchester City to win the final. Not to win the final. Manchester City to reach the final. That's 11-10, plus 110. Like I say, that's half of the draw has opened up for them. They win their game next up, which is against... Where did I write it down? Yeah, they get Al Hilal. Then it's Inter, and then Chelsea or Benfica or Botafogo or somebody like that. 11-10 for Man City to progress through those and make the final. Looks like a nice play to me. Match day 3 picks. Not bad again. 2-2. I gave out 4, 1-2, lost 2, which was profit because the 2 I gave out were both odds against plus money. This was the section that did include one of the worst picks in the history of the show. The nice pick was the draw, the carve up. We said it was on Miami 2, Palmeiras 2. The draw 11-8 plus 137. Now, I don't know if we got a little bit lucky here because when you watched the game, it didn't look like a carve up. It looked like a football match where everyone was trying. Miami found themselves 2 goals in front and blew it in the last 6 or 7 minutes. So it did finish 2-2. So was it good luck? Was it good judgment? If it was a carve-up, they deserve an Oscar, those people, because they made it look really, really good. The other winner was Liam Delap. I went for a player prop in that Chelsea game. It was a case of opportunity knocks for Liam Delap. He only got on the first rung of the ladder, over 1.5 shots on target, was 6-5 plus 120. But he got his goal as well. We like the anytime goal scorer at 11-8 plus 137. The 2 losers, Mamelodi Sundowns and Fluminense finished 0-0 when I took both teams to score, which was just plain old rubbish. But the next one was the all-time bad one, where I took Boca Juniors -5.5 goals against Auckland City, and it finished 1-1. So I was out by a clear 5.5 goals in that one. I'm not entirely sure what happened. There was a big old rain delay, which doesn't help things. It's not an excuse, though. I think the only sort of safety net in here was Tiger, our South American correspondent, who has done really well in this tournament so far. If you go back to our preview show, the handicap on Boca was that they were shite. That was it. It was a one-word handicap from Tiger. Boca are shite. So really should have factored that in. And it was proven to be shite with the 1-1 draw against forklift truck drivers and bin men and stuff like that. So there you go. But yeah, 2-2, a little bit of half a point of profit. What's not to like? No small family car or holiday. But you can get yourself a takeaway or whatever your winnings. Crack on. Which leaves us now into the round of 16. We go from Saturday tea time to early on Wednesday morning, which is late on Tuesday night. So we've got 4 days, 2 games per day. I'll do a couple of games first. Yeah, I've got time to do a couple of games before we get into the ads again. We start with tea time on Saturday, which is 5 o'clock local to me, 12 o'clock Eastern time. Palmeiras against Botafogo. So an all Brazilian clash here. Palmeiras 27-20 plus 135, 19-10 the draw plus 190, and Botafogo 13-5 plus 260. Palmeiras won Group A, not against the stiffest competition. That was the Inter Miami group. 1-1 and drew 2, scored 4, conceded 2. So not much to go on. Wasn't the strongest form, like I say. Botafogo edged past Atletico Madrid on goal difference. The obvious highlight being that 1-0 win against PSG. There's not much to split between them domestically. Botafogo are 4 points behind Palmeiras after 11 games, so not a great deal. The pre-tournament handicap was that Palmeiras have probably got the strongest squad in Brazil, should be a little bit better than Botafogo, and that's reflected in the prices. Palmeiras are favourites here. But looking domestically, it's low scoring. Both teams have exact records in the over-unders at home and in this tournament so far. Palmeiras 5 out of 8, under 2.5 at home. 2 out of 3 in this tournament, under 2.5. Botafogo exactly the same, 5 of 8 at home, 2 of 3 in this tournament. So we've got, 7 for 11, both teams under 2.5. Loads of these games, I would make my pick, then look at the prices. The fucking bookies were on to me. Like, I was sitting doing it by myself, and the IT department was sitting at the other end of the sofa, and I kept just expelling. I was like, oh my God. What should we say? What's the matter with you? I was like, the bookies are on to me. I would find it under, or I'd find a BTTS or whatever it was. And the bookies were there 1 step ahead of me. I did find a lot of these games relatively chalky. The under 2.5 is 1-2, minus 200. So you had to get a little bit creative here. What I've done is, this is an early kickoff. It's a lunchtime kickoff in Philadelphia, midday kickoff. And we're right in the middle of this heat wave. I looked at the weather forecast for Philly in this game. It's 27 degrees. This is going to be a slow burner. So we've got 2 teams who prefer profit. They're profitable to the under. They know each other quite well. All Brazilian clash. I'm going to take the half-time draw. It just factors in a little safety net of 1-1. But effectively, we're going for the 0-0 at half-time here. Half-time draw, 19-20 in the heat, is minus 105. Andy's joined us in the chat. Andy, welcome along. Wrexham, where are Wrexham away? Southampton, first week of the championship season. They reckon those fixtures are random. What a load of bollocks. It's Birmingham or Ipswich, Birmingham. Yeah, in Wrexham v Southampton. There's no way they've randomised them. But anyway, I think that's a Friday night game, Southampton-Wrexham. It won't be too long till we're doing championship weekday 1 picks, which is exciting. Second game on Saturday, 9 o'clock kickoff between Benfica and Chelsea. These games are all great times for me, by the way. There's no 2 o'clock in the morning games on Tuesday and Wednesday, but that's all right. 9 o'clock Saturday night, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Benfica 13-5 plus 260. The draw 23-10 plus 230. And Chelsea 11-10 plus 110. I'll start with Chelsea because I just can't get there with them. The form of their wins here in this tournament doesn't add up to much. It was LAFC and Esperance of Tunis. That form doesn't mean an awful lot. And they lost to Flamengo, so the best team they've played knocked them over 3-1. And they knocked them over in a way that's very, very common to Chelsea at the moment. They're quite a young team. If something goes against them, if the game script doesn't quite quickly go their way, Chelsea can unravel pretty quick. Like we saw it with my own eyeballs at St James's Park in April. And that happened again in this Flamengo game. I might have just said Flamengo there. Benfica, questionable form, 6-0 against Auckland, means nothing. The 2-2 against Boca is a direct form line, is coming out as fairly unreliable, really. And then a 1-0 win against Bayern Munich is decent form, but like I don't know really how much Benfica put into that. Right, I'm going, it's got a fucking error message come up on the screen there from antivirus or something. Got rid of that. Di Maria's in good form. I'll shout him out. He's been 3 goals, I think he's got so far. Di Maria could be live here. I don't mind both teams to score in this. Both teams decent going forward and dodgy at the back. I mean, Chelsea, that in a nutshell. It just sums up both teams. And it's not a bad price. This was one of the prices that wasn't coming in at 3-5, 4-6, something like that. BTS here was 4-5 minus 125. Right, okay, let's try. Press the buttons and read this at the same time. Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog also a great place to play Pick'em. Our code here is PLGP. That gets you a special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code PLGP. Next up is Rhythm. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before, but they've just dropped a new angle called Power Trends. I did press the button. Look at that. Power Trends are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won. There's a high ROI. Power Trends are updated daily and are exclusive to Rhythm. No touts, no noise, just clean data-back bets. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends and start betting smarter. Get your 7-day free trial, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And I'm all the way back. Next games are on Sunday tea time, 5 o'clock, 12 o'clock Eastern time. Paris Saint-Germain will take on Inter Miami. Paris are 1-5, minus 500, 6-1 the draw, 11-1 Miami. What's Andy saying here? He watched Real against. He watched the Real match and then the River Plate game the other night. That game, the River Plate game, was just set up for cards. It was an absolute beano for cards. They were just always going to kick shit out of each other. It was very, very cliche, but it's nice of them sometimes just to do what we expect them to do. We appreciate that. Yeah, PSG 1-5, 6-1 the draw, Miami 11-1. Mixed bag from PSG, I think it's fair to say. They were stellar against Atletico, won 4-0, but then lost to Botafogo and saw off Seattle relatively straightforward in that last game. Miami looked poor against Al Hilal in that first game, really, really poor. And they've actually bounced back quite well. They came from behind to beat Porto. They were ultimately a little bit unlucky not to beat Palmeiras in that last game. They were 2-0 up relatively late in the game. It's hard to find an angle that wasn't very short. I looked at PSG team total over 2.5, too short. PSG to win in over 2.5 goals, too short. PSG to score in both halves, too short. I'm going to give Miami a goal here. Both teams to score is 4-5, minus 125. But I just don't see how PSG don't eventually beat them. So I'm going to go with a little same game parlay. If PSG to win, and to boost the price a bit, we'll add in the PSG to win bit boosts the price of both teams to score. So PSG to win, both teams to score is 7-5 plus 140. Later game, 9 p.m. on Sunday, is Flamengo taking on Bayern Munich. Flamengo 15-4 plus 375. 3-1 the draw. Bayern 7-10 minus 145. Flamengo now do not owe us anything going forwards. They did us a niceness by winning the group at 9-4. And they look good as well. 7 points. Weren't as good last time against LAFC, but they did enough. The win against Chelsea is fairly decent form. Bayern, hard to read. 10-0 against Auckland, irrelevant. Held for 84 minutes against Boca, who we've established already on the show, a shite. And then lost to Benfica. So that's just not the sort of form you want to take someone at 7-10, I don't think. Minus 142. I want to factor Flamengo in to this because they're still my outright pick going forward. I haven't seen anything to make me change my mind, even though they've got a more difficult opponent than the plan was. So 9-4 plus 225 to progress from the tie, to make it out of the tie is a good price. 11-10 double chances live. But ultimately, if I think they might win, I'm just going to back them to win. Just keep it fairly simple. So we'll go out on a limb here. I'm going to take Flamengo at 15-4 plus 375. Monday, 8 o'clock, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Inter Milan take on Fluminense. Inter Milan are 3-4, minus 133. The draw 13-5 plus 260. Fluminense are 4-1. Inter Milan, really hard to get a good read on, actually. They conceded first against Monterrey. They conceded first against Urawa Red Diamonds before drawing and winning those two games, respectively. They were decent. They were better against River Plate. 2 late goals, and that one got them home. Fluminense form has me slightly puzzled as well. They've got 2 0-0s in a 4-2 win over Ulsan Hyundai. So I don't really know what to do. Is it goals? Is it not goals? But I thought that 4-2 was a little bit of a false score. Fluminense were 1-0 up on the cusp of half-time. Ulsan scored 2 goals out of nowhere. And at that point, Fluminense then had to come out, and they did, and got the late goals to do it. I don't think that was ever the plan, though. So I prefer to trust the form of the 0-0s rather than the 4-2. Other than that, they've defended well. Like I say, it was 2 goals in a minute the Ulsan scored. They've kept 2 clean sheets and got blindsided pretty quick. I can see this being really, really cagey. And I quite like my pick here. I've had to get a little bit crafty again. I've gone with the second half to have most goals. Again, we're hoping really for the 0-0 sort of first half, but building a little safety net, because if it is 1-0, we can still get 2 second half goals and get the winner here. It's 11-10 plus 110. This is a 3-way market, by the way, so if it's a draw, it's not a push. The draw is an option, so you take first half, second half, or draw. It's a 3-way market, and we're going to take the second half to have the most goals at 11-10 plus 110. The later game on Monday night, so this is actually 2 a.m. On Tuesday in this country. It is 9 p.m. Eastern Time over in the States and Canada. Is Manchester City taking on Al Hilal of Riyadh. Man City are 3-10, minus 333. 9-2 the draw, plus 450. Al Hilal are 13-2, plus 650. Andy said I'm flying through these games. Yeah, I said at the top, I got loads of good banter, Andy. I've got a cracking story about dinner ladies, but I've got no one to bounce it off, so we'll just have to wait for the dinner lady chat. This is all business here, all business. The Man City form obviously hinges on that 5-2 win yesterday against Juventus, because the other two games, they've played poor opposition. They played effectively League One Otto in Wydad in Al Ain. But I sat and watched them last night, and that's your lasting memory, your most recent memory of what you've watched. They were very, very good. And as it happens, I've actually been quite impressed with how Man City have approached this tournament. Just they've been forced to go, and they've kind of made the most of it without an intensity. They're just playing. They've got some new players to integrate in the team. They seem relatively relaxed. The manager seems relatively relaxed. There's not a huge intensity in there, but they're doing a good job. And as a result, I think that they're playing well. They could have scored tons last night. Scored 5, could have been 8. Al Hilal have been fun to watch. We did take them to get out of the group. We thought they'd go okay. 2 draws, including a 1-1 against Real Madrid. And then they saw off Pachuca last night to get them through into this stage. Eye test, again with Al Hilal, screams goals. The 0-0 against Salzburg was a madness, because it could have been 3-3. There was no way that wasn't a 0-0 game. It was insane. Man City still don't look defensively sound. They conceded twice last night. Wydad Casablanca got in some great positions. They could easily have had 2 goals against them. I do like Al Hilal to get a goal here. So very similar to the PSG Miami game. I think it's unavoidable Man City come out on top. But we can get the both teams to score in there as well. Favourites to win, but a goal for the Dogs for the second time. And this is a nice price. Manchester City to win with both teams to score is 2-1. See Man City winning out 3-1 winners or something like that. 2-1 there. 2 more games to get to. 8 o'clock on Tuesday evening, 3 p.m. Eastern, is Real Madrid against Juventus. Real Madrid 13-20, minus 153. 27-10 the draw, plus 270. And Juventus at 5-1. Real Madrid opened with a little misstep against Al Hilal. 1-1 draw, although Madrid did miss a last-minute penalty. They played 84 minutes against Pachuca with 10 men and cruised past them easy. And then they cruised past Salzburg again last night. So not hugely tested. The biggest problem with Juventus, again, I sat and watched them just get dismantled last night by a team that were better than them. A team possibly, you could say, comparable that level to Real Madrid. So Man City, Madrid in that level, just where Juventus aren't. Again, the form against the other two in that group doesn't add up to much. But you have to look at goals in this game. When you've got one team whose 3 games have finished 5-0, 4-1 and 5-2, that's what, 5 and 7 goals. You have to go with it. So a little bit of a cheat here. Both teams to score an over 2.5, 13-10, plus 130. Again, Madrid 2-1, maybe 3-1 if they wrap it up late doors. Lee's liking the BTTS win double with PSG. That's exactly what I thought. I haven't actually put out a little acca. But I did consider it, and that was the one I would have picked, just because of the same play. You know, it's always nice to have a little bit of symmetry. Man City to win with both teams to score, and PSG to win with both teams to score. What we got? 10 double, 30 quid at 7-5. What does that pay? 6 sevens, 42, 72. There you go. 6.2-1 is the answer. Hashtag Mathsly. You can have that one on me. Final game is at 2 a.m. on Wednesday, which is 9 p.m. Tuesday evening. Borussia Dortmund will take on Monterrey. Dortmund 4-5, minus 125. 13-5 the draw, plus 260. Monterrey 15-4, plus 475. Dortmund annoy me. I rarely get them right, and this goes back all year long on the Champions League shows and whatever. I'd say all 3 results for Dortmund have been below par so far. They got a 0-0 with Fluminense. That 4-3 win against Mamelodi Sundowns. What's all that about? And then they beat Ulsan Hyundai 1-0, which was kind of functional. But even then, you would have backed them to cover a handicap, do you know what I mean? So I think all three results for them were below where they would expect to be. The flip side, you'd argue that Monterrey have kind of outperformed their odds in all three games. 1-1 with Inter, definitely. 0-0 with River. And then they beat Urawa Red Diamonds 4-0. And they did score two worldies, two Thunder Bastards from 35 yards. Got them 2-0 up. Now, this is a really lazy pick, but the price on Dortmund just looks too big, doesn't it? You've got a top European side against the Mexican side at 4-5. And I think if you back that 10 times, you're going to win 7 or 8 of them, aren't you? I don't know. It was almost a bit too obvious. This was one where I'd expect it to be 4-6 or something like that. So yeah, Dortmund at 4-5, minus 125. And is that it? Have I done it? Fucking hell, what a thoroughly professional young broadcaster I am. Yeah, I think I've done all the games in order, have I? Well, tough shit. I'm not doing any more. That's all you're getting. So, done. Andy's mentioning the magic. I'm not a magician. Joe's joined us, Joe Dollar, for the last few minutes, talking about the humidity, which I have factored into a few of those games, Joe. I hope it's not like this in the World Cup next year. We can't be doing with like 5-hour delays and stuff like that. I know it's a little bit of an outlier. I did the baseball show with Dylan the other day, and Dylan lives in New York, and he was thoroughly grumpy. I mean, he's quite grumpy. He's not Barry grumpy, but he's quite grumpy. But the heat had absolutely done him in. Like, he looked sick of his life the other day. So hopefully it's a little bit of an outlier, and it just tones itself down for the World Cup next year. But I think that's it. Part of the reason I did all 8 games here was to give Baz a chance to get back. So it probably means next Wednesday the quarterfinals will be set. Barry should be back. Should have got the lager and pork knuckle out of his system by then. Then we should be able to get stuck into the quarterfinals. And I think that's it. Thanks, everyone, for enduring that. It was probably a little bit boring, but there might be some winners in there. Nothing boring about that. Everyone in the chat, I do very much appreciate it. Now I'm going to have to figure out pressing the buttons, what we got here. If I press that next one, shit, that's an underdog button. No, I didn't press any of those. Right, so if I press this, then I should get the outro music. If I don't know what to tell you. Good luck with all your picks, everybody. Have a lovely weekend, and we will see you all down the road. Cheers.